Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Yvonne Chaka, and I do hope I find all of you well. Today, we are in Chitungwiza, where we are meeting one of the persons of interest in our national politics, and that person is none other than Job Sikhala, the vice chairperson of the MDC Alliance. And we want to learn more about his journey, where he's been, what makes him keep going, and why does he keep running battles with the state, even at personal costs. Join us on Person of Interest.
Mchano. Chelsea. Mchano ule pale.
Welcome to our platform.
No, welcome. Thank you very much for the visit, and thank you very much for this important interview.
Right.
We are going to have today.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about who Job Sikhala is. I know you wear so many hats. That's what we would want to know.
You know, Job Sikhala is a legal practitioner. As you see, these are my law chambers. That's where I'm practicing my law firm. Secondly, I'm the vice chairperson of the Movement for Democratic Change. That is in terms of my political life. I'm also a member of parliament for Sikhala West constituency. And in as far as it is concerned, these are specifically the three main boroughs that I currently occupy in life. Of course, not excluding my family. I'm also a family man with a wife and children, and all these different responsibilities needs my attention at each and every given minute. So it's something that is very important for somebody to live such a hectic life on a daily basis. My daily schedules are very, very one of the most difficult ones on the basis that I need to pay attention to all these responsibilities. So as far as it is concerned, this is how it is.
Right. And people just know Job Sikhala. Maybe if you can tell us a little bit more about your journey, especially in the political sphere, because that's where essentially most of us really know you from. But you started your activism in the students' union. Can you tell us your journey towards where you are now?
No, by the time when I became a student leader at the University of Zimbabwe, I was already political conscious because, I became political conscious at a very young age. During the period of fighting against one party state in this country, they shared with us, why Zimbabweans should not support the country to become one party state. So basically, I started to become very political active around the age of 1989, 1990, when I was in my Form 4 at Masuni High School, where generally the debate about the future of our country when ZANU-PF wanted to declare this country one-party state.
Mazungunya High School.
Yes,
In Bikita.
Bikita.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I learned quite a substantial amount of political debates around the issues that are affecting our country. And also not forgetting that my aunt was killed when I was 7 years old in Manama in Bangladesh by the 50th Brigade. So I grew up questioning quite a number of main issues that were taking place in our country. So my political consciousness started at a very young and tender age. By the moment when I went to the University of Zimbabwe, that's why it did not become very difficult for me to contest for political office when I was a first year. Generally, at the University of Zimbabwe, it was difficult for first year students to contest political office and win. I'm one of those students who broke history at the University of Zimbabwe in 1996 when I went there, when I was doing my first degree. My first degree, to which that is the certificate you are seeing there, the Bachelor's of Arts in History and Economic History. Before I started law, that is my law degree. The other one that you are seeing there, and that one is for my Master's of Laws as well. So by that time, I had to grow to understand, the basic needs of the people of Zimbabwe in as far as issues of governance were concerned. So when I entered into student activism, already I was a matured politician. I knew my responsibilities and what was expected of myself. So initially, I was elected to become the Secretary for Information and Publicity of the Students' Representative Council in my first year. And on my second year, I was elected to be the Secretary General, the position that I held until I graduated from the university. So, in short, my journey as a student leader was also complemented when I became the Secretary for Information and Publicity for the Zimbabwe National Students Union. I was elected to be in the National Students Union when I was still also the first year at the University of Zimbabwe at the Congress that was held in 1997, in October 1997. So since then, and then come to the formation of the NTC when we were the first crop of young student leaders who have been invited to be part and parcel of the project to give an alternative political voice to the people of Zimbabwe. I was one of those who have been part and parcel of those coming from the student movement to the formation of the MTC. After having joined the MTC, I was elected to become a member of parliament in 2000 at the age of 25. Soon after my graduation from the University of Zimbabwe, we graduated at the University of Zimbabwe in September 1999. By June 2000, we were already sharing the green benches with the Minister of Higher Education, Ignatius Chombo, who was giving us storage time as a student. So he got surprised that those people whom he has been ill-treating as student leaders were now sharing the same benches. So in 2000, I became a member of parliament for St. Mary's constituency. St. Mary's that included St. Mary's and Sengeza. Sengeza, where I am currently the member of parliament. We contested as the MTC. The MTC was formed in 1999.
Right.
The first electoral contest by the MTC was done in 2000.
For the parliamentary
elections, where the MTC won 57 seats, the ZANU-PF won 61, and the ZANU-PF won 1. So ZANU-PF only, we missed to upstage ZANU-PF by three constituencies. One of them which they robbed from us was Marondera Central, where Stephen Sikhala lost the elections to Mutsimba, to our candidate who was called Mutsimba in Marondera Central. So we contested as the MTC and I became a member of parliament in 2000.
Right.
Then thereafter, in 2005, I came back as a member of parliament again for St. Mary's and then there was an unfortunate development where the parties split in 2005. And after the split, there was a lot of confusion among the electorate, to which in the 2008 elections, I wanted to contest again, but I did not manage to win. And for 10 years, I went on political sabbatical. When I became in opposition to the inclusive government, critiquing them from the platform of the MDC 99, the vehicle which I created specifically to deal with the issues of challenging the three protagonists who entered into a political covenant called the Government of National Unity. So I was the only one who was outright, challenging these people and telling them that what they were doing was not the best interest of the people of Zimbabwe.
Right.
Because the deliverables were not coming, the manipulation of the system was still continuing, the need for reforms were not given attention to. The entrenchment of ZANU-PF into office was also happening at that time. So it was not easy during the period of inclusive government, because the people had the euphoria that Zimbabwe was going well, but some of us were realizing that we were going on the wrong direction.
Right. And let's go to you starting MDC 99.
Yes.
Was it just to be in opposition to the inclusive government, or something informed your decision to?
No, it was after some very serious disagreements with both the MDC-T, which was under the leadership of Morgan Shanghai, and also the MDC, which was under the leadership of Adam Dambara. My disagreements with them were very simple, were based on two fundamental principles: that we cannot allow ourselves to be absorbed into a working relationship with the people, with ZANU-PF and Robert Mugabe, whose political party is lost elections. That was going to set a wrong precedence for Africa, where leaders who have lost elections will still come back in power via the use and application of violence as an instrument of political organization. You must understand the way how people have been subjected to unprecedented terror and violence in post-2008 elections, especially in June 2008. It's still being commemorated by the people of Zimbabwe on the level of violence which ZANU-PF perpetrated against our people. This is specifically the issues that I am talking to today. They were not supposed to have allowed ZANU-PF to have a saying in an election which they completely lost. We have seen many dictators in Africa who refuse to leave the citadel of power after having lost elections. So that is the same thing that we witness in our country, and I was in total disagreement that ZANU-PF has lost elections. There is no reason why they must be accommodated on the future discourse of our country. They were simply supposed to leave power. They were supposed to vamoose. And then the second issue was that I told them that we have lost the goals and aspirations of why we formed the MDC in 1999.
Right.
Ours was never to be in position of power. Well, ours was a journey to liberate our country and have a transformation to democracy and good governance. Specifically, the issue of the inclusive government was basically a consensus of sharing political posts in cabinet and in all other various sectors and facets of the nation. I specifically disagreed with them. So hence MDC 99. I was calling them, let's go back to our farm, to what we agreed in 1999 on what specifically are we supposed to do for us to bring the issue of good governance, democracy to the people of Zimbabwe, and the issue of happiness, which they did not want to hear, because the majority of them wanted to occupy political positions. They went ahead, occupied those political positions. But the consequences of what I've been arguing for were vindicated in 2018 when ZANU-PF, regrouped and had a rebound back into power in astonishing fashions, where both the MDCs were crushed during those elections in 2013. So
did you participate in those?
I didn't participate in those elections because I was telling them that you must continue having your incestuous marriage, your incestuous relationship that you have created among yourselves.
Right.
So I don't want to spoil your party. Go and participate among yourselves. I would be an observer from outside. I did not participate in the 2013 elections because I knew that these people have sold the soul of the struggle by allowing themselves to work hand in glove with ZANU-PF. That is one thing that still disappoints me up to today, because it postponed the destiny of change to our people up to present. That's why we are still in the trenches. We could have finished the business of removing ZANU-PF from power in 2008. There is no way a losing ZANU-PF could have sustained itself to run a government in a country where they have been rejected. Even the international community and the world, including even the regional geopolitical interests of SADC, clearly demonstrated that they were no longer interested to continue being in bed with Robert Mugabe. They could have long left power. Zimbabwe could have been in a new trajectory, which to me, in as far as I'm concerned, is still betrayed the wishes and aspirations of our people. We were supposed to demand that ZANU-PF has to go, rather than for us to go into a relationship with them, to form a government with them. They did not respect even for the MDCs when they joined the inclusive government. Right. They were treating them as, people with lepers. No respect, no nothing. And everything that the MDCs wanted to demand within the inclusive government did not come to materialization. That's why up to today we are talking about issues of political electoral reforms. Right. Those things should have long been concluded during the period of the inclusive government. Had it been that it meant well for the people of Zimbabwe. So specifically, there is no political gain that was obtained when my colleagues joined the inclusive government in 2009.
It's interesting that you mentioned that particular period. And I want to come to you because for everybody else, it felt like the GNU was the best way out of the violent quagmire that we were in. Now, when we look at, you said people should have demanded for the actual government that they voted for. What would you say was the role of those regional bodies that you talked about, SADC, AU?
SADC was very clear. SADC was very clear in as far as the issue of Zimbabwe was concerned. Manawasa was telling, as the SADC chairman, was telling Robert Mugabe that his government is not recognized until there is a political settlement that will give the people of Zimbabwe the right for them to decide who their leader was. And Morgan Tsvangirai won those elections very clearly. There was no reason at all to accommodate ZANU-PF in an arrangement that derailed the people's struggle. The region was very clear. Robert Mugabe lost even the control of the SADC. Kama was speaking out against the excesses of Robert Mugabe's government. So was Jakaya Kikwete and a number of other SADC region leaders, except for Thabo Mbeki, is the only one who remains supporting Robert Mugabe. But the majority of SADC leaders were in total disagreement that Mugabe should continue to become president of this country. Not talking even on other blocks in Africa. The West African nations were saying that Mugabe has lost elections and he must leave power.
Right.
So the compromise to have those elections on the basis of rewarding violence, that is ZANU-PF, because the perpetrated violence against the supporters of the opposition, hence we were supposed to simply get into government with them so that the violence would stop. That is the unfair rewarding of violence. Why should we in our politics reward violence? So tomorrow it means that even if ZANU-PF loses elections, they will do violence, and the people will say, no, let's simply accommodate them so as to avoid violence. The truth of the matter is that they were supposed to go because the people of Zimbabwe rejected them. And still by today, I stand by that position. ZANU-PF in 2008, it wasn't supposed to be in compromise. It was supposed to be out of power and allow the people of Zimbabwe to have a government of the leadership which they chose during the election period. With or without reform, Mnangagwa is gone.
Wow, okay, with or without reforms, Emerson Mnangagwa is going. And I want to come to the issue of reforms, Vice Chairman. I want to come to the issue of reforms. We heard the MDC constantly going about no reforms, no elections. We heard the MDC say we are the alternative, and people are asking, what are you doing? What is the alternative that you're offering? How are we going? Is there any reason for me to go and vote in the next election when I know that the outcome is not going to be what I'm voting for? Now, what is the message that you would want to give to people of Zimbabwe right now? You're saying with or without reforms, the MDC is going to win. The MDC, under the leadership of Advocate Nelson Chamisa, is going to win the 2023 election. Are you sure?
I'm very sure on the basis that we have got a whole package for the people of Zimbabwe. We have got a very important economic blueprint, which is very available if you go and visit our website. One of the finest economic blueprints you can ever find in the world on how we have got a turnaround strategy for our economy in our country, how our re-engagement program is going to be with those people who are fundamental to the growth of our country, how we are going to bring Zimbabwe out of this current isolation from the international community, where it will be one of those players in the global village of today. We have got also a very clear democratic agenda blueprint on how people will be restored back their freedoms and rights. And there is no way anybody would vote any other party except the MDC. If you see our economic policies, if you see our reform agenda, if you see our democracy policies, if you see how we want to bring back dignity to the citizens of our country, there is no any other choice except the MDC alliance. So that's where my confidence is being driven from, that the only hope for the people of Zimbabwe is only bestowed in the MDC alliance.
And there is a section of society that feels like the MDC alliance is creating demigods around individuals within the party.
The country and the party is bigger than individuals. What we are trying to construct and build is a Zimbabwe for everyone.
Right.
The Zimbabwe that is above individuals or even above organizations. The change that we are not talking to is not the change to fantasize having individuals who will be bigger than the state. We have had the problem of big men syndrome in Africa for a long time, where leaders were above even the state. You know, Zimbabwe from 1980 until Mugabe was overthrown during the period of the coup, the Zimbabweans could not differentiate between the state of Zimbabwe and Robert Mugabe. Even in their own party, ZANU-PF could not even differentiate between ZANU-PF and Robert Mugabe. So we are oblivious of that as a movement. In our party, there is no way we will ever allow an individual to be more bigger than the institution. The institution is the one that we are building today, because tomorrow, you know, yesterday this party was being led by people like Gibson Swanda, like Morgan Shankrai, Julini Mulu and others, but they are gone. Right. But the institution still survives. So our period also, as Job Sikhala and others who are in the leadership of the party, we will go, but the institution will remain. So we better build a strong institution rather than a strong individual, because this is a home which will be inherited by our sons and daughters. When all of us, me and you, are no longer there, it must be an institution which we create for the future generations, not for the current generations. If the institution becomes more, if an individual becomes more powerful than an institution, the day when that individual dies is the day when the whole institution also dies. This is not an institution that you want to construct as the movement. We are aspiring to have an institution which is more powerful and more stronger than individuals in the organization.
Right. And we are going to the elections in 2023. We have seen double candidates coming from the MDC. We have seen your own people fighting against the individuals. Like, everyone is fighting for power. What are you going to do differently this time around?
There will be no double candidates. We will never allow that to happen again.
Right.
The last time it happened when I was not even in the standing committee. And the person who was the chairperson of the elections director was Morgan Commission. Is no longer with us, but it happened on his hands. Is the one who was supposed to deal with that issue. And the issue of double candidates falls under the ambit of the office of the national chairman, because he is the head of the elections directorate.
Right.
And we will make sure that we will never ever have candidates who have lost during the period of primary elections coming back and field themselves as second candidates of the party. That is one fundamental problem that I thank you for identifying, and we are going to make sure that we rectify it in 2023.
And
We'll
your
not have
organization?
is massive program that are currently taking place at the moment. We are doing it silently. We are not rushing to the system how we are doing it,
Right.
but there is a huge campaigns in the rural areas. The reports that I'm obtaining is that Comrade Bondo is doing some very fantastic job on the countryside. And we believe as a person who has been tasked with that portfolio, and the reports that we are obtaining are the truth. And the results of 2023 will show you how we have managed to penetrate the rural areas.
Right. You have been arrested numerous times along this journey. What has been the worst?
The West has always been arrested at any given time. But when I was tortured in 2003, together with my lawyer, Gabriel Shumba, Charles Mtama, and others, that was the worst experience. That is the experience that I later made it for. That if these people are going to kill me, so be it. I will never retreat from the agenda of the people. I will continue on the radical path. I will continue speaking the truth to power, no matter what it takes. So since 2003, when they tortured me, that is the worst thing that they did against me. It hardened me. It gave me the reason that even if they want to kill me, so be it. I'll continue fighting them until these people are out of power. So that is the worst arrest that I ever went to, and I was tortured on the 13th of January 2003. But along the way, we have also realized that something is also intensifying this persecution of its opponents. When they took me on the charges of inciting public violence over the 31st of July demonstrations.
Right.
They kept me under incarceration for 5 weeks. It's like serving a jail sentence. Purely, 5 weeks in prison is not a joke. The second time when they arrested me in January this year, on the allegations of publishing falsehoods against the state, they kept me in prison for 26 days. Another 4 weeks again. So if you add 5 weeks plus 4 weeks, and it almost gives you 3 months. So 3 months of imprisonment is not a joke.
Right.
So now they intensified denying you bail, living in prison, trying to break you, so that when you come out, you realize that you don't want to go back there again. So it will teach you on how you are going to speak out against the excesses of the state, on their failures, and so forth. So specifically, that is how it is. That all the arrests have been very painful. There is no arrest that is friendly.
Right.
It's bad. It's bad. Where you'll be thrown into a prison cell without ablution facilities, where lices are flying all over. In the prison cell, where our security is even not current. So specifically, this is the developments that I can say in as far as issues of arrest and incarceration is concerned. But however, the more you maltreat someone, the more you harden him. I've now been hardened. I am now the real enemy of these people who have been persecuting not only me but several Zimbabweans on the basis that their persecution on me. I have noticed that they have got an agenda of even trying to eliminate. But I will not look back. I will intensify my campaigns against the misrule by the current government, and that will not stop me from speaking out. So specifically, be reassured that I am strong and I will continue fighting.
Right.
Until me and you will be able to sit here today, enjoying our country.
Right. And as a parting shot, your message to the young people?
They must go and partake in voter registration. They must also participate. They must not only register. Let's overwhelm them with numbers in 2023. And if we overwhelm them with numbers, definitely they are going to lose elections. Let's make sure that we prosecute what we are supposed to do. And what we are supposed to do is to make sure that we do for the best of our country. is for them to register to vote and for them also to vote in 2024. And then the game will be over.
Right. Thank you so much,
Thank you very much.
Honorable Sikhala, for
Thank you
affording
very
us this
much.
time. I see your clients have been standing by the door for a long time. We've held you so long.
No
Thank you so
problem,
much.
no problem. They are also very important because you are the informers of our nation. You have come here to have this video so that we share with the people of Zimbabwe. It's also very important. Money is not everything that we live for. We also live for other people. This is a struggle. Guys will have met you, will see me when I have also finished doing another responsibility that I have to share the national crisis with the people of Zimbabwe on how best we can solve all of us challenges as a nation. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you. And thank you so much, Zimbabwe, for joining us on Zimbabwe Daily, looking at our persons of interest. Today, we were talking to Honorable Job Sikhala. Do DM us if you've got other individuals you feel we need to profile and bring onto the platform. And if you have any questions, feel free to send them through. We'll be able to get back to Honorable Sikhala with those questions. Thank you so much, Zimbabwe, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day.